coaches in 7 years.
Ooh.
Has LeBron's time in LA been a success?
Yes. When you win a championship, even if it is in a truncated season with circumstances in the bubble like COVID, you still win a title. And anytime you bring a title to a franchise and to a city, I consider that to be successful. However, when you have the second greatest player of all time and you have a certain amount of talent around him, maybe not enough as far as a lot of people are concerned, but it's not as if it was just him as far as stars were concerned and star power was concerned on his team throughout his tenure. You do expect more. And I think that's a compliment to LeBron. It's a compliment to say, I have witnessed your greatness so much that I assume that you should be able to bring more than one title to an organization like the Lakers. So I would say it's successful, but also disappointing.
CC, has it been a success or a disappointment?
Can't say it's a disappointment when you win a championship. So I would say it's success, but not what I envisioned as a Lakers fan. I thought we would have more than one shot with LeBron James being in the NBA Finals in a Lakers uniform, and unfortunately, that's not where we're at.
So if you're going to rank LeBron's tenures, I'd put Miami 1, Cleveland Part 2, the Lakers 3, and then the Cleveland Part 1, 4.
I can't put the Cleveland Part 1, 4.
So then
He took that team. Look at the team he took to the finals.
So then the Lakers are this 7-year run, which is the longest, I believe, the longest run he's had. Mm-hmm. No, the Cleveland Part 1 is the longest run. So either longest or second longest run he's had. You think it's the worst tenure of LeBron's career? Because you can't put it ahead of Miami. We know that he was at his best there. They won 2 titles. Cleveland Part 2, the drought, the finals, the whole thing.
I would put that 1 just because of how much weight that carried.
Okay, so then we can go back and forth, irrelevant. Those are the top 2.
Yes.
Those are the top 2.
Yeah.
So at best,
I would say Cleveland Part 1, it sounds weird, but was more successful than what he's done with the Lakers.
So he's in the midst, and I know he's in his 40s. He's unbelievable. He's the second greatest player of all time. But he's in the midst of his worst run of his NBA career.
Yes, but I don't know if I agree with the tone that you.
Well, say it how you want to say it then.
No, I don't know if I agree with your tone. I would say that you can't call it a disappointing tenure with the Lakers because they did have the title and they have made the conference finals a separate time. But when we got LeBron and Anthony Davis together, the assumption was that this tandem was going to find a way, now that they had championship DNA, to get back to the championship rounds more consistently, and that hasn't been the case. They shipped off AD. AD presumably okayed it. They couldn't wait to get away from each other. You brought in Luka Doncic, a trade that nobody in the NBA thought could happen.
Definitely.
Went on this terror in the second half of the regular season, and it made us feel like this Lakers team could actually be a championship contender. They finished top 3 in the West. And the fact that it ends with this emphatic thud and being boat raced by the Minnesota Timberwolves, who, if we're being honest, brought their C game last night and won in an elimination game in L.A., I got to say it, it's an embarrassment, man. This is an embarrassment as a Lakers fan.
888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Let's hear from you guys, specifically the Lakers fans out there. I mean, everybody, but the Lakers fans would love to hear from you, especially those in LA listening on 710. I got my sweatshirt on today for ESPN LA. Shout out to ESPN LA and the Lakers. You go to the game last night, you open up the program. 3 people are in there. We happen to be the 3 people in that program last night. May have been a bad night for them, but a good night for us in the Lakers program at the game last night at the arena. How would you describe LeBron's tenure with LA? Has it been a disappointment? Or is there a better word to use for LeBron's tenure in LA? 888-SAY-ESPN.
It feels incomplete. He won a title, but it feels like it's still lacking. Like you still wish that there was more. Do you think that's fair?
No, I think that's fair. And I put a lot of what happened this year on LeBron James because LeBron James handpicked the coach in J.J. Redick, and we saw his flaws as a rookie head coach in the postseason play out against Chris Fitch and the Minnesota Timberwolves, who for the first time in that franchise's history has won a playoff series in consecutive seasons. I'm not trying to dismiss what Minnesota is because I think they're a fine basketball team. But make no mistake about it, this is a flawed Lakers basketball team, but we all assume through the greatness of LeBron and Luka and the coaching acumen of J.J. Redick, they would find a workaround with the lack of frontline size, and they weren't able to do that. And you kept seeing it come up in these various in the games throughout this series, and there was no adjustment by J.J. Redick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for all of the things that we saw with him critiquing other NBA head coaches, with the Mind the Game podcast, everything that we've seen J.J. Redick, he couldn't have a solve. He couldn't have an answer for what the Minnesota Timberwolves were doing with their frontline size. When you have an all-time great in LeBron and one of the greatest players currently in the league in Luka Doncic. That's embarrassing.
It's amazing because the more, like, I would never rank Luka above Dwayne Wade ever as a Dwayne Wade truther and stan, right? When it's all said and done, there could be an argument that Luka's career may look better than D Wade's. And if you think about the teammates that LeBron has had, and he has had ridiculously great teammates in their prime when they're playing with him, this guy may end up being the best of the best.
Hold on, say what you just said again about Dwayne Wade and Luka.
So Dwayne Wade's career is obviously better than Luka's.
No question.
When it's all said and done, Luka's career has a chance to be the best career that LeBron ever played with.
I don't even feel comfortable saying that.
Okay, so but here's the point. Here's the point that I'm getting at.
That.
Here's the point that I'm getting at. Shaq had the best career of any player that LeBron ever played with, but not when LeBron was playing with him. Okay? Luka, the way he is right now in his prime, is actually should be better than at the time that D Wade played with LeBron, because he was at the latter portion of his career.
Yeah, but D Wade won a championship before.
No question.
Yeah.
I'm saying that when we look at LeBron's tenure in LA, this is not like Michael with the Wizards.
The height of their powers.
Yeah, we're talking about Luka at the height of his powers right now. We were talking about AD at the height of his powers. AD was way better with the Lakers, in my opinion, than he was with the Pelicans. We're talking about, like, yes, LeBron James is an older player. He is a phenom. He's a freak in how he's able to do this. No one could do it the way that LeBron James can. But his teammates are ridiculously good. This is not some schlubby scrub team. No,
I'm laughing because you're right. Luka's at the height of his powers, but he's out of shape, and that's led to a lot of injuries. And I just keep thinking back to when Anthony Davis joined the LA Lakers, and the narrative around AD not being able to stay healthy was that he wasn't in shape. So you went from a co-star in AD who wasn't in the best of shape to a co-star in Luka Doncic that's even in worse shape.
Yeah. And I want to be clear on this because I love Dwayne Wade. What I'm saying,
and we're talking about being paired with a guy who takes better care of his body than anybody.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, of course, Luka is not better than Dwayne Wade.
No.
But Luka is going to end up as an all-time great player who's in his prime right now with LeBron James.
Coming off a finals run.
Coming off of a finals run with another team, and they completed the greatest trade in the history of the sport, and LeBron had the gall to bring up AD last night?
It only makes it the greatest trade in the history of the sport if Luka Doncic can deliver a championship to LA, and I have serious doubts about that.
I totally agree with that.
888-SAY ESPN, 888-729-3776. Has LeBron's tenure with the Lakers been a disappointment? It's a fair question to ask. It's the Lakers. One title's not enough for an organization like this. It's like the Packers, your team that you root for in the great state of Wisconsin, where we get to pick Wisconsin. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. We saw the draft in Wisconsin.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người. Chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn cách tô màu những sản phẩm như hoa quả này, con vật, đồ vật, vân vân. Và bây giờ mình sẽ chọn những bút màu để tô các bạn nhé. Các bạn hãy nhớ lắng xem video của mình đến hết. Mình cảm ơn. Và bây giờ mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn tô màu nào.